What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new commentary video. First of all, I just want to say thank you all so much for clicking on the video, and I hope that you choose to stick around by subscribing and also joining our Discord. The link is down in the description. We like to hang out, chat with you guys. You guys help us pick out video ideas, all that great stuff. We would love it if you joined. Anyways, without further ado, we're going to get right into this. So anyways, we actually do have another viewer suggestion here, so I'm going to go ahead and read this comment here. What's going on, Hunter? I'm currently 17 and I just got done taking my SATs. I recently watched your first life advice video where you talked a little bit about motivation and also drive. However, you mentioned something in that video. When you rely on motivation, you end up failing and you end up going through something called burnout. I feel like I'm currently going through that. I've taken my SAT twice now and I haven't gotten great scores. All my life throughout high school, I've been told that I need to do good in school. Both of my parents went to Ivy League schools, and I want to follow in their footsteps. I'm struggling to find the motivation to continue on and take the SAT for the third time. I would love some advice on this. All right, brother. So we got a little bit of an interesting thing here, because I'm going to be straight out and honest with you. I also did not do great on my SATs. That's for multiple reasons. When I took mine digitally, because we were still in that transitional period after COVID. And the issue is that my essay portion of the test got deleted after 45 minutes. So, you know, as a journalism major, it was pretty stressful because obviously they care a lot about your writing portion. But that's besides the point. What I will tell you is this, man. High school is a really weird time. High school is a really weird time in general because we've decided that in America, we've decided at least that this is the time where you need to decide what you want to do for your life, and your future is decided based off of a couple tests that you take. And it's this point in your life where you shouldn't be making these decisions. I've talked about that a lot, so I don't want to dive too deep into it. But my opinion is that system needs to change. High school between 16, 17, 18 is a really weird time where you're figuring out who you are, finding your identity. A lot of us are figuring out who we are sexually. A lot of us are figuring out who we are politically. All these things matter in high school. And we've decided that on top of that, you also need to decide what you're going to do with your future. And what's really interesting about this is with the concept of burnout, naturally, humans have this desire to do well in general, right? And as soon as we face failure for the first time, we halt. You know, when you think about when you were young and maybe you tried out for sports the first time or whatever, you felt discouraged. And a really good reference for this is Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was actually cut from his high school basketball team. And that was sort of the first time that he sort of faced this. Throughout middle school and stuff, he did really well in sports, and it was sort of shocking to him that all of a sudden he wasn't on the team that he's been working for his entire life. And that's what you're going through right now. And it's really interesting because I have faced this too, and I'll talk about my experience in just a minute. But first, I want to give you a little bit of advice. So the thing is this, the first time that you run into a wall, you basically feel like you've hit a wall where you can't do any better because you failed. That is where burnout comes from. It comes from a lack of success and not receiving the outcome that you expected. It's basically the opposite of insanity. Insanity is basically doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results, right? In this case, you saw one result, you've seen one result for your whole life, and you've decided once you've seen one result, you've stopped, right? And that's a normal response that our brains create. But what's really important is that this is something that we can get over. And I'm going to talk about that just a little bit on how to get over that. And one of the main things I'm going to tell you is everybody has faced this. I've faced it when it comes to video creation way back in the day. When I first started this channel, there were some old commentaries that I made. They had nothing to do with life stuff. They were just ripping on e-celebrities. Like I made one on Pokemon, and that one did really well for being my first video. It got almost 1K views, and it ended up getting over that. And it was a video that I was proud of. And then after that, I made a couple more that also did pretty well around the same range. People were enjoying it. And then I made one at the time, Alinity, was at the center of controversy. This was at the point where Alinity wasn't getting banned for things, and it was really at this time and period where basically all of the commentary channels were saying, hey, Alinity needs to be banned. And I also made a video, and I was essentially trying to make a video like I did with Pokimane, where I was trying to capture an audience, and I was really trying hard with this video. It didn't get views, and nobody liked it. And when I look back on it, it was a pretty bad video, so I don't blame people for not watching it. But the funny thing is that I immediately felt burnt out. I literally did not make another commentary video after that for years. And what's really interesting is that I thought, oh, I'm just an idiot, right? I failed because I made one bad video. No, dude, if I would have thought that, dude, this series wouldn't exist. Obviously, because of the series exists, I've changed my tune quite a bit regarding this topic. And basically, it takes a lot of mental strength. I will be completely real with you. It does take quite a bit of mental strength. The real thing that you need to remember is that, once again, that it is normal. And I would really recommend talking to your parents. They are both clearly successful people if they went to Ivy League schools, and I'm guessing they have pretty good jobs. I would be honest with them and tell them how you're feeling. And let them know, hey, I feel like I'm disappointing you. I feel like I'm letting you down. And have a conversation with them. You know, obviously they want you to go to an Ivy League school. They want you to follow in your footsteps. That's fine. And I'm glad that you've worked towards that. And if that's really what you want, go for it. But I want you to start that conversation with them and ask them about their experience. What struggles did they go through? Because I can promise you they did. If they didn't go through it in high school, they definitely went through it in college. That's a big thing that a lot of people feel, you know, when they were in straight A student throughout school or whatever it may be. They typically struggle throughout either late high school or early college because it's such a different thing. And I think it's really important to sit down with them and have that discussion. Figure out their experience and talk to them about that. Share your own experience. And also, it's also super important to share these feelings with your friends. Because the thing is that your friends are going to be going through the same kind of stuff. They're going to also be struggling with their SAT scores. They're going to be struggling with their relationships, all this stuff, right? Number one is find a support group. Number two is that, once again, is you really need to be ready to strive. You need to be ready to take reins of what you've done so far, right? Because so far you've succeeded really well. You've gotten to the point where you're taking the SAT to begin with. That's a step that some people don't take. My dad didn't take the SAT, you know? So it's like, you're making further progress than I think that you're giving yourself. And you need to stop and give yourself credit too, which is a big factor. Is you need to be able to tell yourself, hey, I am improving. I am doing cool shit. You know, I am doing things to make my parents proud. And it's important to give yourself credit. Think to yourself, look, man, throughout my freshman year, throughout my sophomore year, I got straight A's, you just finished your junior year. Hopefully you also got straight A's there. And you're going into your senior year. And senior year is really where you get to show those skills and really say, fuck the world, and basically show, hey, dude, I've made it this far, and I'm going to continue to make it this far. So I really think that it's important to stop, reflect, and just kind of help yourself out of this situation. For me, what I did is, after making that video, is I didn't make commentary videos for a long time, which wasn't the right move. But what I did do is I didn't just stop. I sort of looked and found a different avenue to release my creative ideas. And that was in gaming content. By that point, we just started a new series on the channel called Alpha 69, which is where I really found myself. It was a place where I really started to learn how to edit and to get better at editing. I wasn't just using Final Cut anymore. I moved over to Premiere Pro, and I really felt like a professional. And that's a thing that I think that is really important, is to be able to stop and really just kind of find a way to sort of compromise for the mistakes that you may have made. And that's okay, because things are going to happen. And you need to understand that there are going to be parts in your life that you're going to feel a sense of disappointment in yourself or in others, or whatever it may be, whatever you're doing in your life. You know, it's really important to stop and look at that. You know, and it's really funny because a lot of artists also go through this. We have plenty of musicians, you know, where they create a masterpiece their first couple albums, and then they put out something that isn't as grand, and they lose themselves in what they've created. There's so many bands that have done this. There's so many solo artists. One of the example that just pops into my mind is Jay-Z, right? Jay-Z created some of the best hip hop records of all time. You know, the Magna Carta, not the Magna Carta. That's not a great one. But, you know, he put out great albums. You know, he was putting out things like the Black Album, the Blueprint 2, and he was putting out these really good records that everybody was falling in love with. And then he put out a retirement album that nobody was a big fan of. And then he also put out another album after that that was sort of this weird, like, homage / soundtrack for a movie called American Gangster. And once again, nobody really liked it. And then he made Magna Carta, which nobody really liked. But then he came out with an album called 444, where he really kind of reflects on the person that he's been over the last decade or so, and what he's created, and who he wants to be for his family, his wife, his kids, all these people. I really want you to do that too. I want you to reflect on what you've done and what you can do and what you want to do. And I want you to reflect on all of that to create a world for yourself, an idea for yourself. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I hope this video helped. I just want to chat a little bit about burnout and really how to get over it a little bit, and how I've gotten over it and how lots of people have gotten over it. And once again, just want to say thank you all so much for clicking on the video. I hope that you decide to stick around by subscribing and also joining our Discord. It's free. It's down in the description. It would really mean a lot to us if you would go down there and to subscribe. Once again, we'd like to hang out with you guys, just chat. And yeah, anyways, guys, I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day, and peace.